Hello and welcome to today's episode of Platinum Talks Wealth. Emmy Nominated journalist Jennifer Rogers Markwell changed gears in her television career when she realized the need to help women make sense of investing. She regularly hosts educational workshops to empower women and others to take charge of their financial future. Now, join your host, Platinum Wealth Management President Jennifer Rogers Markwell, as she leads us into the world of money memories, money infidelities, and how these can mold our relationship with our personal finances as adults. Let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, it's Jennifer Rogers Markwell, and today I'm joined by Lia Lamela. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I've been excited to talk to you for a very long time. So please tell us who you are and why you do what you do.
My name is Lia Lamela, as you so lovely just said. I'm an electrician who has the podcast Sparky Life. I am passionate about skilled trades, and I realized in the industry that there's a lot of stigma and misconception within the trades. There's not enough female presence within the trades, and there's a toxic culture wrapped around construction companies that really needs to change. So I'm here to tell craftsmen stories through engaging banter, make it make it fun, educate on all the different opportunities that are out there within skilled trades, and break down some barriers.
Love all of that. So tell us your path though. Like, you weren't always here doing what you're doing now. How did you get from where you were to where you are?
So, old Lia was very lost for a very long time. I've had several different career paths in my life. And what brought me to skilled trades was something that I often say was the worst thing that has ever happened to me, that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, and yet the best thing that has ever happened to me. So I was in a domestic violence situation where I lost everything, ended up in a women's shelter, had no idea what I was going to do. And as I found out through the podcast, my story is not unique in that a lot of women actually step into skilled trades for the salary. You're stuck. Working at Walmart ain't gonna cut it. And all of a sudden you get introduced to skilled trades and you're like, wow, this is a profitable career. That's kind of how it began.
Wow. Thank you for sharing and being raw and vulnerable with that. I have talked to you about, like, I feel like folks who are in the construction industry, which is widespread in a lot of different, jobs and titles by all means, but I really feel like that's the salt of the earth human beings. Really.
Agree.
Yeah. So when you look around, I mean, obviously, I think all industries, but especially, construction in general, same with finance, right? It's always been kind of the good old boys club. How are you seeing things kind of evolve? I mean, they're better than they were, right? And I feel like there's more opportunity now, but we're still not where we need to be.
Yes, I'm blessed that I am stepping into skilled trades when I did, because certainly it is drastically different, especially for female presence. And I've spoken to the women who were there on the front lines, and their stories are absolutely incredible and inspiring. But there is a lot of work that needs to be done. There's this huge stigma that people are in the blue collar world because they couldn't cut it in college, or they didn't have another choice. And while some of them might actually feel this way, that is not true for the entire blue collar community. The other stigma is that they're dumb. Construction workers are dumb, which is really untrue. The amount of innovation involved in construction is amazing, mind-boggling. I really don't think people understand how complicated it is to build and create from the ground up using your hands and your mind. It's pretty incredible. These guys are athletes. They're absolutely hidden heroes. And that's why I love so much speaking to so many different types of skilled trades.
It's interesting because you hit on something of like, oh, you couldn't make it in college. Let's be honest, like college is not for everyone. And some people who go to college like fumble and struggle because they don't have a path, right? They can't figure it out. They don't know where to navigate to. It's a thing. It's absolutely a thing. And I feel like, I don't know, and it's me looking from the outside into your industry. I feel like it's being more embraced now. Like you've got the, different folks that are out there saying, hey, go into the trades. That's such an important role. It's infrastructure. It's really everything across the board. And we can't survive without the trades. I don't care what you do. We can't. It's so important.
Yes, I agree. I'm a firm believer that the American economy will significantly improve with more skilled labor. I don't know that we're going to be able to correct the current deficit that is in place. It would take a lot of movement in the direction of supporting skilled trades, but I would love to see that and the trickle effect that would occur in society by embracing that.
For me too, I look at, skilled trades and small businesses, and granted, some are very large businesses too, but that's the backbone of America.
Yes. 100%.
Right. And to toot your horn a little bit, like I really appreciate what you're doing with the podcast, because I think that is, I don't know anyone that has anything like what you do. Like it's super unique. It's fantastic. There needs to be more of it. And you're really creating that literacy behind it, which is huge.
Well, there definitely are skilled trade supporters and podcasts out there. I think Sparky Life is in a unique category, but I embrace other supporters of skilled trades. I've had Lisa Reynolds, who has a podcast. She wears work boots. I've had the Smoko podcast with Alexa. She is absolutely divine. I adore her. So there are supporters out there of skilled trades who are trying to break down stigma and introduce the youth to opportunities within skilled trades. And Mike Rowe is a huge supporter and long time supporter of skilled trades.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's the one that I'm sure it was out there, just not as mainstream, right? Like not as embraced, but he has been singing the praises of skilled trades for 20 years, probably more. I mean, that's just what I've, known of Mike Rowe.
Yes, he had the amazing opportunity because of his brilliance to basically say, I told you so, because he's been warning that removing skilled trades from schools and creating this media presence that blue collar careers are less than or not valuable paths, that would be a huge mistake. And sure enough, he was right.
And here we are. And you touched on too, really like there are some really solid, comfortable salaries that you can create from that, whether, again, you own your own business or you're working for a company. I mean, there's folks do well.
Oh, yes, definitely. That's another stigma. They think that blue collar industry isn't going to bring in six figures or more. And that is untrue, completely untrue.
Well, one thing we like to kind of chat about on this podcast, one thing of many, is talking through money memories. What's a money memory that you have as a younger person or as a child that really kind of helped evolve your relationship with money as an adult?
The thing that sticks out the most is remembering the emotional memory of wanting to spend more time with my father. Me and my father were very close, especially when I was younger. And I remember wanting him home and realizing he had to work. He had to work all the time to create the experience and provide the luxuries that we had in the household. And the mentality was kind of like a rat race. He just had to keep working, and couldn't be present because he was providing. And so I had this feeling of never enough. And then if you're lucky, if you work really, really hard, then you actually get to enjoy all of that work and effort.
So obviously that was his path and that reflected on you. Have you changed the narrative there?
Yes, I have. I realize now there is an abundance of opportunity. You don't necessarily have to kill yourself to create wealth. There are several different ways of creating wealth. There's many different ways, different paths to create different standards of wealth. And I have a better idea and vision for what I want my path to look like now more than I ever have my whole life.
I love that. I love that. And not that everyone can see you if they're listening through, just the audio side of things, but it's definitely exuding from you. So not only are you saying it, you're feeling it and it's showing for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So another thing we like to chat through are financial infidelities, which can mean different things to different people. Are you being unfaithful to yourself financially? Was there an infidelity that you either experienced or that you witnessed from someone else that you think folks could learn from?
Okay. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is when I was young, in one of my many careers, I was working for the FDIC at the time, and I made $15,000 in 3 months and thought that I was a baller. I was like, wow, it's just raining, and then blew the $15,000 on what I couldn't tell you. I mean, I just had it in my head that it came so fast, and so it would continue to come so quickly. And I just spent, had no idea how easy it would be to lose it all. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, ballpark, how young were you at that moment?
I was 24 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely changes the journey, I think, with age too.
Oh, yes, for sure. For sure. I now know how quickly money can come in abundance, how hard it can be, and all the variations, right? So
yeah, no, and you touched on that. I mean, there's a lot of variations to that. There's it flowing in and out, it moving like an energy. And then there's the thought of like, oh yes, here it is, poof, and here it's gone. And then really, and the psychology behind that, right? For sure. Yes. And I feel like, I look back in my 20s and gosh, totally different person now than I was then, even from my 30s, right? I feel like my 40s, I'm like, okay, a little bit my prime now, I'm figuring it out. But it's also, I feel like humbling because you realize you thought you knew a lot. And the more you learn that you're like, wow, there's lots I don't know.
Oh yeah. And I find with my financial journey, I am really starting to invest, and that's why I love your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
in growing my financial knowledge and understanding of wealth, because that's the other thing. I didn't understand wealth. I didn't understand what that meant. I immediately thought, oh, millionaire, that's wealth. No, that's not wealth. That might be a certain image of a certain aspect of wealth, but there's many different types of wealth. And it's important to understand what you're looking for, what type of lifestyle you want.
That was beautifully put, because it's so true. There's so many factors to that. And I really think it's individualized. I mean, there's folks that, that spend $1,500 a month that have been savers, and that's just what they do. And that's their joy. And that's where they're at, and they'll never run out of money. There's folks that have millions and millions that spend lots of money that go through it fast. So, and again, it's such an individualized journey at the end of the day, right? What works for you is not going to work for somebody else on so many different facets. And I think that's where, I think that's where the magic happens too, because you can really figure out what your goals are for you, not for anybody else, just for you.
Yes. I love it.
Me too. Well, as we wrap things up, I like to ask, what are some tips and or tricks that you use to utilize money in your household?
So for me, I like to keep my wardrobe simple. I have very expensive taste when it comes to experience. So I love investing in scuba diving and fishing and these types of activities. So I rather invest in those experiences than Prada. But I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with loving fashion and investing in beauty and appearance. I think there's value in it. For me, the experience and activity is more valuable than the fashion. So that's where I like to put my most expenses in that category and focus on keeping very minimalistic and simple when it comes to what I wear and how I express myself.
That resonates with me because I tease that I'm $5 shirt girl, right? I would love a $250 shirt for $5. And that's kind of like a thing for me. It's a thrill of the hunt, right? So could I afford to buy something expensive? Yes, but why would I? Because I can find it for $5. And then same thing with what you're saying. I think that experiences, those are priceless. I mean, for holidays and birthdays and things, I'm like, we need nothing. Like, we're blessed. We work hard. We can, get what we need, of course. But at the end of the day, like, if we go on a trip or have an experience, that's creating a priceless memory. That's where we lean. And I love that you do that too, just because I feel like that's priceless. Priceless.
I agree. I'm with you. I'm on board.
Nice. We're on the same boat. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for making time to chat today. So appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I have learned so much about everything that you offer. I didn't realize that there was so much more behind the podcast. And I now am just tickled pink and excited to explore all of the tools and opportunities that you have available.
Yeah. And I probably don't toot that enough. Like, we definitely want to lean into financial literacy. We do monthly coffee chats that are, complimentary. We also are starting really a kind of a 101 financial piece to give people a 101 of, investments, finances, but really kind of just holistically, like, what does it look like from your perspective? So yeah, if anybody's interested, feel free to hop over to our website, sign up, and we'll send you the links to join in. So
I'm interested. I'm interested.
Thank you so much. It was an honor chatting with you today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. And hopefully the rest of you listening or watching will join us again on our next Platinum Talks Wealth podcast.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, Platinum Talks Wealth, please subscribe and share. For more information about Jennifer Rogers Markwell or Platinum Wealth Management, please visit www.platinumwealth.net. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member of FINRA and SIPC. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. The guest speakers and their companies are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial or Platinum Wealth Management.